In this video, we're going to talk about interval notation. When you first start learning about inequalities, such as x is greater than 4, you probably learn how to put this on a number line. In a number line, let's say here's 0, here's positive 4, you probably learned that you're going to have an open circle because it is greater than, not greater than or equal to. And because you want all the numbers that are greater than 4, you're going to shade to the right. Interval notation is a little bit different. The word notation just means how we write things in mathematics. So instead of graphing this with an open circle, instead we are going to be using either parentheses or brackets. Because this is greater than, we are going to use parentheses and we're going to still shade to the right because we want all the numbers that are greater than 4. In terms of interval notation, this means that I want to start at 4 and I'm headed towards positive infinity. Because this is not or equal to, that is why you see a parenthesis. And because I'm headed towards positive infinity, you see positive infinity on the right-hand side. Infinity is not a real number. Infinity is simply just the idea of unboundedness. Therefore, infinity will never take on a bracket. Let's see the difference between this and x is greater than or equal to 4. Back in the days, you used to graph this. Here's 0, here's 4. Instead of an open circle, you used to have a closed circle, and it's still greater than, so you would still shade to the right. In the new notation for interval notation, because it is or equal to, what you're going to use instead of a parentheses is now going to be a bracket. And that bracket is still going to point to the right because I want all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 4. In terms of interval notation, that means that I would write a bracket and then I'm headed towards positive infinity. So the bracket 4 means that it is including the 4, that's where the or equal to comes in, and then positive infinity because I'm headed in the right direction. Let's talk now about the inequality x is less than 2. It used to be that you would graph this with an open circle, and now it's less than, so you're going to shade to the left. The difference between that and what we're going to be doing now is that we're going to be using parentheses or bracket. Do you think I'm going to use a parentheses here or a bracket? If you said parentheses, you are correct. So I'm going to use a parentheses, but notice the parentheses is now going to open to the left because I want all the numbers that are less than 2. The way we read in the US is left to right. And so left to right, what is happening with my numbers? I am starting at negative infinity and I'm headed to positive 2. And then I stop at positive 2, but I don't include the positive 2 because it's just less than. So in interval notation, this number line is going to be parentheses, negative infinity, comma 2 parentheses. Let's compare that to x is less than or equal to positive 2. Again, back in the days, when you first started learning this in either pre-algebra or algebra 1, you would have a shaded circle, and then you shade everything to the left on the number line. This time around, we're dealing with either brackets or parentheses. In this case, it is or equal to, so you would have a bracket facing to the left. And then in terms of interval notation, I still have negative infinity, still with a parentheses. Remember, infinity and negative infinity will never take on a bracket. And then I basically start from negative infinity and I move towards positive 2. In this case, I do include the 2, so I am going to put a bracket. Let's go ahead and do a compound inequality, like 1 is, or let's say negative 1 since we haven't seen any negative numbers. Let's go from negative 1 is less than x, less than or equal to positive 6. On a number line, we are going to have 0. Here's positive 6. Here's negative 1. And back in the days, you would do open circle at negative 1, closed circle at 6, and I want all the numbers that are in between these two. Now, with our new notation, which is just how we write things, I'm going to still have 0, -1, and 6, but now I'm going to use a parentheses at -1, a bracket at 6 because it is or equal to 6, and I still want everything in between. From left to right, this means that I start at -1 and I end at +6. There's going to be a parentheses at -1 because it's not or equal to, but there will be a bracket at 6 because it is or equal to. The other notation you need to learn is what happens when I'm facing in the opposite direction. Let's say x is either less than -4 or x is greater than or equal to -2. So in terms of graphing this, the way you used to do it, here is -4, here's -2, here's 0. I used to go from -4, open circle, shade to the left, and then I'm going to shade in the circle at -2, but go to the right because I want all the numbers that are either less than -4 or greater than or equal to -2. In our new notation, in our new graph, we're going to be using parentheses and we're going to be using brackets instead. So this time it's going to be parentheses -4, and I'm going to be shading to the left, and then bracket -2, and I'm going to shade to the right. How do I write that in interval notation? Again, we read left to right. So we are going to go parentheses from -infinity until I get to -4, close parentheses because it is not or equal to. I'm going to use U, which is union, for or in this case. And then I'm going to put bracket -2 to +infinity, parentheses. And that's going to be how I write this in interval notation. Hope you found this video helpful. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more help with math so that you can say, yes, I can do math with confidence. Until next time, thanks for watching.